Hi, it's Jane with Scraptastic Yarns. It's been a busy week. Last week there was no episode. Don't make any apologies for it. It was just a rather busy week. As you know, I was busy working on the bags for the shop. Had a couple other things that got me pulled away for some different things. And sometimes that's how life goes, right? As far as makes, I've just been making the Christmas hats. I'm going to have to get those to them next week. So, trying to get as many as I can done. Even though they'd wanted like 250, that's not what they're getting. They're going to get about 8, maybe 10 if I can get some more done this week. It's just, things are busy. Not only because it's just the way things are going around here, but as you know, the house is coming along. There are a lot of things that have to be done with that, like picking out cabinetry. You know, and those are little details you don't think about when you buy a house, when you go look at a house that's already built. But you know, I have to think about that. Do I want a cabinet in here? Do I want cabinets there? What do I want? And it can be rather mind-blowing and at the same time stressful. Although I have been told the fireplaces will be installed, I think, next Tuesday into the house. The roofers start Monday. And I'm getting a metal roof put on. Why? Well, Thomas, for his family, about every 3 or 4 years would have to go up on the roof and do this power wash mixture with bleach and something else to get rid of all the mold and the dirt that collects on the shingles. And I thought, you know, you have to replace shingles after a while, so why not make it a metal roof that's going to last 20, 30 years? Probably longer than I do, you know. So, yeah, I have chosen that. Last week, I think I also told you, maybe I didn't. I'd gone back to the cable company because things are skyrocketing there too, which, quite frankly, I don't understand that. Unless they're paying the people in Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, whoever it is that they do their call centers through, more money. You know they don't pay them benefits, so, you know, I kind of wonder why it's going up. But anyway, I went to go change the package program. Thomas had the ultimate cable. I don't need that. I'm getting rid of the house phone, so, you know, you figure that should take a little bit of a chunk off, right? $30. $30. That's all. So now I'm rethinking, do I want to do this or do I just want to go maybe some kind of streaming service? I mean, I don't really watch the TV that much anyway. So I'm looking into those options. You know, it's fun, that kind of thing. The other thing is I had someone who had requested some a simple crossbody bag that I've made for her in the past, but this time she wanted it out of satin. And on the satin I do free motion quilting, but she wanted quite a few bags, so I was working on those bags as well last week so I'd get them to her so she'd get them mailed off for her Christmas gifts. And if you have ever quilted on satin, it's feast or famine. It can be a beast at times. This time it worked out. I'm going to put an example of the bags that I did for her here. So yeah, it worked out well. I'm really grateful that it did work out well this time because it's time crunch. Because I do have some other orders. I don't know if you know, but I do make some concealed hand carry bags for some folks when they request them. And the ones that I have that have been requested have been out of faux leather. Most of them don't want real leather, which is great because I'm not real sure the Benina could do the real leather. The faux leather is a little bit thinner, a little bit easier to get some of those needles through, so yeah. And in the meantime, I've been looking at a professional machine. I don't know if I'm going to go with a Juki or a Cellrite, so I'm looking at pros and cons between the two, you know, which would be the best for the business, that kind of thing, because that is a business investment. That's not just a, you know, household thing. I love my Bernina. I use my Bernina a lot, mostly for the quilting and sewing of the handbags that I do, with the exception of the concealed carry bags. I use a different machine for that, and it's an older machine, and it's getting to where it's harder to get parts to replace parts that are going bad, so that's why I'm looking at the different type of machines. So yeah, it gets real interesting when you get into those kind of logistics. Plus, in this apartment, I really don't have enough room to bring in another machine table setup, so I'm kind of limping along until I can get into the other house, because there I will have room to put up a professional machine. You know, this one, I moved this out of the way when I use the other machine, so that won't be an option if I do choose one of these other professional machines. But yeah, that's kind of all that's been going on right now. Plus, you know, the normal running around things you gotta do. You know, like going to a craft fair here and there, because you gotta get out and get your mind stretched. You know, I like to see what other people are doing as well. I find that fun. And as well as doing other crafts, other things, to keep me sane right now. So yeah, that's about it. That's all that's been going on with me. Not a whole lot to show you here, crochet knit-wise, just because I just haven't had time to spend on it like I would like to. I need more hours in the day, I think. Wouldn't that be nice if we could get another hour or two in the day? And of course, it doesn't help that I don't sleep much, so, you know, I come in here, piddle fart around, and you can't see the other part of this that is a total disaster, which it needs to be cleaned up, and I do plan on doing that after the holidays, so yeah, I'm going to spend some time doing that. The other bags, the Pokemon bag and the other print that has the gnomes on it, those will be coming out hopefully at the end of the week. Table runners, there's going to be a couple table runners that will be up in the shop, as well as the rest of the bags that are in the shop now. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm also thinking about, you know, the little bee bag that I had done with the gnomes. Thinking about turning some of those into maybe a table runner with some placemats. I think that might be fun. So, you know, those are just some of the things that are running through this crazy head this time of year. Yeah. Oh, and then I get a notice from my bank that that someone has de-enrolled my cell phone for a Zelle payment. Not that I made a Zelle payment, but apparently somebody took that off the list because it wasn't as active, and I'm like, what? I send money 2-3 times a month by my cell phone through Zelle payments, so now I gotta go to the bank on top of that to find out what's going on. It just drives me nuts sometimes. Anyway, the holiday season is full of joy and love and all that fun stuff, but sometimes it's also full of a lot of stress. What are you gonna do? We need to de-stress somehow. And I keep telling myself, take a deep breath, do a little Bible study, calm yourself, calm your nerves. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright guys, are you ready for a little what Tarnation? I know I am. Some cute stories this time. This next one, it is lion cubs venture outside for the first time at an Oklahoma zoo. The Oklahoma Zoo and Botanical Gardens shared video of its quartet of recently born lion cubs being introduced to their outdoor habitat for the first time. And it's cute. It's really cute. The cubs that were born at the zoo September the 26th are named Zahara, Nima, Makina, and Mashango after the zoo had social media followers vote on names for the newborns. They have been slowly introduced to their outdoor habitat for the first time, and then early in the morning that facility begins to open up to the public. They always try to make sure they don't let them outside unless temperature is over 50 degrees. And you know, winter sometimes in Oklahoma, it can get cold. I've traveled through Oklahoma when there have been ice storms and you can't get gas because everything's frozen. But anyway, there's video and it's awful cute. It's about 40 seconds long, I think, of the cubs outside in that habitat. This next story, sometimes you wonder how kittens get into these predicaments, but they do, right? A kitten was rescued from the engine compartment, not of a car, but of a British Columbia fire truck after the vehicle and its crew returned from an emergency call. City of Vernon said a Vernon Fire Rescue Service crew returned to their station after responding to a crash on Highway 91 on Burney Road and heard the sounds of muffled meowing coming from inside their truck. Search of the vehicle resulted in the firefighters locating a kitten stowed away in the engine compartment. The kitten was taken to a local veterinary clinic where the staff said it appears happy and in good health. They said the kitten will likely be put up for adoption if no owner comes forward. And it's a beautiful black and white kitten. It's got a little bit of white, mostly black. This next story, I give you the link. Well, there's links to all of these, as always. But I give you the link to the actual posting that New York City gave. Now, when I read this, I read they were looking for a rat. That's where my mind went with it. New York City boasts job seeking a rat czar to tame the city's rodent problem. See, I was imagining this rat, you know, like from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, being a czar instead of an actual person. Yeah, I don't know why my mind went there. Maybe it's because I was tired. The administration of New York City Mayor Eric Adams has listed a new job for a rat czar to tame the infamous rodent problem in the Big Apple. The posting, which was made Wednesday, is officially seeking a director of rodent migration who will work to advance the city's efforts to address policy matters in the 5 boroughs related to curbing the recent increase of rats during the COVID-19 panic. Sorry, I said the C word. I guess I'll get dinged from YouTube. Who knows? Anyway, do you have what it takes to do the impossible? A virulent vehemence for vermin? Who doesn't? A background in urban planning, project management or government, and most importantly, the drive, determination, and killer instinct needed to fight the real enemy, New York City's relentless rat population, the posting reads. If so, your dream job awaits. New York Citywide Director of Rodent Migration. The tongue-in-cheek posting adds that rats are not our friend and our enemies that must be vanquished. The role with an expected pay range between $120,000 and $170,000 reports to the deputy mayor. For operations, and successful candidates are required to be a New York City resident with a bachelor's degree, at least 5 years of relevant experience, and a swashbuckling attitude, crafty humor, and a general aura of badassery. Can you imagine reading a job application that says, yes, I have a badassery of killing rats? Okay, I'm sorry. Job posting comes as New Yorkers have increasingly complained about those rats. Gee, I wonder why. Data published by the city in July shows that 74,000 calls about rat sightings were made in the first months of 2022 alone. An increase of 60%, from the same period in 2019. There are 25,000 rat sightings reported in the city in 2021. In July, a group of New York residents filed a lawsuit seeking an end to the outdoor dining shacks built in the pandemic they said has led to the boom in rats. The 8-page lawsuit was filed against New York State, New York City, and the state Supreme Court. The residents said the temporary outdoor restaurant program implemented in June 2020 at the height of the C-19 pandemic, we all know what that C word is, has led to increased and excessive noise, traffic congestion, garbage and uncontrolled rodent populations, and the blocking of sidewalks and roadways. I can't imagine it's pleasant. The lawsuit was filed under the New York City Council. In February, passed legislation to form a permanent program to keep outdoor dining, which has been created as a temporary solution to help restaurants struggling because of the lockdown restrictions. How about we just go to the restaurants? Since those lockdown restrictions have long since been lifted, the New Yorkers said the city is abusing its authority to continue allowing the dining shacks, many of which have fallen into various states of disrepair. Well, if you had people licensing and going out and inspecting them, you might not have that issue. Pre-pandemic, I enjoyed my neighborhood's charm, clean and quaint tree-lined streets, parks, and peacefully working in my garden, Brooklyn resident Angela Bellotti said in her affidavit filed with the lawsuit. The sheds filling the streets have become nesting grounds for rats. Litter lines the streets as rats tear open the piles of trash left beside the sheds. No doubt. Storm water collects at the shed walls, becoming mosquito breeding grounds, and the stench is horrendous. Can anyone say 15th century? That's kind of what we've almost gone back to. You know, we always paint that time as being very romantic, swashbuckling people. But it was really a really filthy time. So it sounds like we're kind of going backwards instead of forwards, doesn't it? Hopefully they'll get a good rat czar who will go after it with a vengeance. Wildlife officials rescue deer with antlers wrapped in Christmas lights. Wildlife officials in Oregon came to the rescue. They got a head start on decking the halls when its antlers became entangled in Christmas lights. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife said that rescuers responded to a call from the Dallas Police Department about a buck with its antlers covered in Christmas lights. ODFW staff were able to locate and dart the buck to remove the lights. No injuries were found and the buck got up quickly and went on its way. A yellow ear tag was placed in each ear for identification purposes, the post said. The department recommended residents take measures to protect bucks, which are known to rub their antlers against objects in the fall to show dominance and mark their territory. If you have a deer frequenting your property, hang lights higher up in trees where bucks cannot get into them. In the case of volleyball nets or hammocks, it's best to take them down when not in use, the post said. That reminds me, I have to tell you a little story. I'd gone to pick up someone. We were going to a grief share meeting last Tuesday night, and I'm going up a street. It is a city street where I live in Lock Haven, off one of the main streets to the college campus. I have lived here 19 years, and this is the first time I've ever seen it. It was dark, and I started up about halfway up the hill. I ran into 3 deer running down the street. I came very close to hitting the deer, and they took off up over the hill. I have no idea why they were in that neighborhood. That is not normal for deer to be up there in that area. So I was quite shocked. But we've been seeing a lot of things that are somewhat interesting, you know. Like, what is it, the sheep in China that are just going in circles? I think horses in Italy just constantly going in circles. You know, something's going on. Maybe we need to be more aware of things. All right. Next story revolves around another cat. Firefighters rescue cat stranded on roof for 5 days. Firefighters in California came to the rescue of a cat that had been stranded for 5 days on the roof of an apartment building. Bambi's Army Rescue. I like that name. Located in Parlier, said a feline named Sammy made its way to the roof of a building at a senior apartment complex in Kingsburg, and was stranded without food or water for about 5 days. A roofer was summoned to the scene, but his ladder wasn't tall enough to reach the top of the building. The Kingsburg Fire Department was then summoned to the scene, and they were able to set a trap on the roof and bring Sammy back down to the ground. The cat has been rescued. It is off the roof and back on solid ground. And there's video. And it's a cute little black and white kitty. Now, this next story I found rather interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this on TikTok, but it made a Guinness World Record. It's rather interesting. Flying broomstick illusion becomes TikTok's most viewed video. An online illusionist with a large social media following earned a Guinness World Record when one of his TikTok videos reached 2.2 billion views. Guinness World Records announced that Zach King of Agora Hills, California, had the most viewed video on TikTok with his short video titled Zach King's Magic Broomstick. The video, which featured King using a mirror to give the illusion that he was flying on a broomstick in the style of Harry Potter, earned 2.2 million views by March 2022. The video was posted December the 2nd, 2019. King, who often posts videos of illusions and magic tricks, said the video actually involved less planning than much of his other content for TikTok and YouTube. I remember that during one team meeting we realized that Halloween was coming up, and we thought of an idea that used mirrors to make it appear that I was flying on a broomstick. He told Guinness World Records, "We filmed that video in one afternoon with just me and 2 other guys." Now, the video link down below is where he reveals this trick. I did not give you the link to the original. You can actually go to Zach Kings TikTok and find that video. Like I said, the date is December the 2nd, 2019. It's fairly easy to find, you know, but I wasn't going to scroll all the way down through all the videos because he's got a lot of videos up there. But I did give the link to where he shows how the trick was achieved. So, there you go. That's it for What in Tarnation. Alright, now we're ready for a little bit of devotion here. Okay, totally committed. The Lord is faithful. He will strengthen you and guard you from the evil one. This is 2 Thessalonians 3:3 in the New Life Testament. I think that's what it is. Faithful friends never betray you. A faithful dog sticks close to your side. A faithful spouse has eyes only for you. The Lord is faithful. Allow this incredible truth to strengthen and sustain you as you face whatever the enemy has planned today. God will never betray you. The Creator of the universe never leaves your side. Jesus will never choose another over you. How can you draw strength from the wellspring of God's faithfulness? And boy, isn't that true. I know some of us have had quite a few betrayals in our lives, but God is ever faithful. And I hope that if you do not know God, that you would learn to know Him a little bit better. Get to know Him. He's not a bad character after all. He does a lot for me. Alright guys, that is it for today. Please remember to be kind to one another, love yourself. Get out there and see this big beautiful world that has been created for us, because it's amazing. Alright guys, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.